This is a complex question. I'm going to try and condense this down. The answer is sort of. They're sort of trying to push everybody towards, a gold-backed type currency. This is what BRICS is attempting. What they're attempting is kind of an old school way of doing it. Hey, this one currency is collapsing. Look, come over and get our new improved gold-backed currency. And it'll be gold-backed for about 3 hours. And then they'll start printing more currency than there is gold to back it. This is just a reality. So it's the reality of central banking in general. It's the reality of just how people are. Because remember, all human beings want stuff for themselves, and it's desire for the unearned that causes all these problems. And there's no way around it, okay? So human nature is going to be like, hey, we can, even if it's benevolent, or the thought is benevolent, like, well, but there's this huge emergency, or there's this, oh my gosh, there's this famine, quick, we could just print a little bit extra money and we could solve this famine. And what happens is you actually end up causing more harm than good. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? So what I think, if I'm being charitable, and I'm in a charitable kind of mood right now, so I'm going to be charitable and say, let's say that what the BRICS is attempting is just something that they genuinely want to have a gold-backed currency. The trick is that how are they going to keep it gold-backed? And how do you know that all of everything that's backing it is in fact gold and not tungsten bars that are plated? This is the problem with this kind of stuff. Anytime someone says gold-backed currency, it usually means they're just going to create another scam right behind it. And these things run for about 30, 40 years, then they fall apart, and then they just start another one. And then they run for 30, 40 years, then they fall apart, and they start another one. This is just the way of things. And people always fall for this stuff because they don't understand the math behind it. And I've done my very best to try and explain the math behind all of this stuff. And it's easy math, but it requires people to not, you almost have to purge everything that you learned in school to understand this, because it's right in front of you. It's a scam, it's a con. You have to think of it like that, and then it makes total sense. If you try to think about it like, no, these people they're in suits and ties and they're really trying to help people. No, they're not. They're actors. They're just actors. All the world's a stage, and they are just playing their part, and that's what they're doing. They're just playing their part to get you to keep using their currencies so that a handful of people can stay wealthy. It's called people farming, and a lot of people unfortunately don't realize they're on the farm until it's too late. Okay, so until it's time to go to the slaughterhouse, then they go, oh my God, what happened? Like, yeah, exactly. So the way you get out of that is you have responsibility, and you take some responsibility on yourself. I don't mean you personally. I'm not talking. I'm just answering your question. But we as people take responsibility on ourselves, and we engage in self-governance. Okay, this is the idea of, this is what the U.S. was founded upon. It's exactly what the U.S. was founded upon, and it worked extremely well. In fact, it worked so well for the first 50, 60, 70 years that it scared the hell out of every other country and every dictator, every king, queen, prince, potentate, dictator, czar, you name it. It scared the hell out of everybody, because for what they all saw was a bunch of peasants that didn't need them. They realized they didn't need them, and yeah, it's pretty bad if you want to be a useless boob and just do nothing all day long. It's pretty hard to take when they say, hey, we don't need you anymore. So they have to create these crazy gimmicks and schemes and everything. I'm not trying to get into the philosophy of all that. That's a whole different set of topics and everything. I can't do that on video. So you have to actually be standing here in front of me, and I can talk about that. But the whole idea between good and evil and what choice they made and everything, it's whatever. Okay, but anyway, yeah. So do I think they're trying to push that? I think that BRICS is trying to do it. I think some countries are trying to do that for their own ends. They're just trying to get people, to believe in that currency, so that way they can have the same privilege of exporting inflation and keep this thing going for another 50, 60 years or so. It's why they have to have control of the internet. It's why certain topics on on even TikTok are total taboo. There's a video of mine that I just posted recently, and I won't even say the name of what the video was about and everything. You can go on my channel and you can scroll through and see the one that has like 102 views. Yeah, it's that one. It's that topic. And you can't talk about that topic, because if you talk about the topic, then it's just a taboo. Nobody's allowed to see that, because it goes into the idea of controlling media, controlling what you're seeing, the type of education that you're allowed to go and seek for yourself. Not me give to you, and not anybody else give to you, but that you can go out in the world and just see this shit for yourself and just kind of undo it on your own. So that's my long-winded way of saying that. But yeah, I do think that they are trying to do that. Do I think it's going to work? Probably not long term, but there's a lot of people that probably will fall for something like that. And the best way to not fall for it would be to just say, okay, if you want to have a gold-backed currency, why don't we stop the whole gold-backed thing and just go to gold coin and go to hard gold currency where people deal in gold? They'll never do that. They'll never do that, because it will expose their scheme very quickly. Hope that helps.